So I'm delighted to have our guest here back here today. Could you introduce yourself and where you're from?
So my name's Jake Roberts. I'm from Bathgate in West Lothian, Scotland.
So you're a young musician going through the hardest period for creatives in recent memory. How does it feel as a musician to slowly but surely have more freedom in your music again?
Well, it's kind of nice because it's just like during lockdown I was just working like 6 months straight and like being stuck at work, going home during lockdown. Obviously there's not much like creativity, so it's quite nice to actually just get out again, actually experience stuff and like actually witness stuff again. Because actually for me it's like arrival experiences and like vast experiences, that's what I do. So it's quite nice to actually just get out and witness that. Like I wrote one song during lockdown called Friday Night Dancing, and that just like normally before lockdown I'd write a song in 1 or 2 months, and that's just like I'll just have the idea and be like bam, that's it. For that one I was sitting there for like a year just going, I have no idea what I'm doing with this. So like I get like adding like parts slowly over time, and then like it was a good song. Like statistically it was one of my best ones, but that's just kind of annoying. Just like I wanted just to get it done, but I just couldn't. The lockdown, I went for a studio was an absolute nightmare. And then I got to lockdown 3, I think it was, in December. It's like I was like had no songs ready, so I had this one called "Don't Wake Me," and I think I was like sitting there for like 6 months, just like about 2 or 3 months writing it. And then I've been kind of frustrated because obviously I was like wanting to add more parts and I just wanted to get ready, but like obviously because like studio and whatnot, because lockdown, it just wasn't happening. That's quite funny because like I realised in March that like studios were actually allowed to open in Scotland since January. So I was just sitting there just going, like, you're telling me I waited a month and a half for no reason whatsoever. So it's like, so it's just like, it's been kind of like a frustrating process because obviously COVID like affected a lot of stuff, but finally to get back out again, like actually like do stuff like this, you know, like be able to like get a bit of normality, it just helps so much to actually just get experiences. So it's working for mine a wee bit better now, so.
Oh, that's great. Does it make you feel nervous at all, the idea of kind of playing gigs again?
It's kind of like a weird one because like I've been dying to play a gig. I've literally hated so much doing like online streaming because I did one and literally I just cut out halfway through, and like where we started it is literally like the quality was terrible. You couldn't actually hear me properly. I was glitching out everything for like an hour, like for like half an hour. It was just terrible. But it's just kind of just like I'm actually buzzing to go out and like play gigs because like I'm playing Party Pads in summer like alongside Just Nuts, my like, street preachers. So I'm actually buzzing for that. But it's like same time it's like 7.5k folk, and like a lot of folk in the comments and like a lot of folks like kind of bashing it, saying like why is this happening. So I am looking forward to it. It's just kind of just interesting to see what actually, if it goes ahead, and like how like folk actually respond to it. But I mean, end of the day, like we're all on the gig, we're all there for a good time, so just gonna make the best of it. So
I think that's the hardest things a lot with aspiring musicians like yourself. Like you're trying your best to create music and promote yourself in the best way possible, and it must be quite frustrating, you know what I mean, trying to do it in the right manner when everything's going around you.
Oh, exactly, yeah. It's kind of a nightmare because like for me it kind of appears like, you know, like you drop a song and then the best way to do it is like go do a gig, go do a few tours and like meet new people, like get new fans, meet new people, get more folks listening to your music who wouldn't listen to your music. But it's like online, it's kind of like, how do you do that? It's like you probably got that to time, but it's like it's not the same. It's like just going to a gig and like promoting your new song to a bunch of new people while support acts like a line gig. It's just kind of just like adapting to it. But like, it's been harder, but I mean, nice when gigs come back to actually just, you know, have that advantage.
Aye. So you were mentioning your song there, Don't Wake Me, which releases on Friday the 4th of June.
Aye, that's right, yeah.
And how did that come about?
It's quite funny because actually it's like after Friday Night Dancing, it's just kind of like that was my most successful drag, like by in every way possible. I kind of realized I had like no back catalogue afterwards, so it's kind of like setting up Christmas during lockdown, going like, okay, what do I do? And then like I had this like idea for a riff, like the main riff in the song. Like I used that one, like I came up with that and sort of slowly built the song around it. And like it's listened to like a lot more like pop stuff, like I listened to like stuff like indie stuff like Vistas, Retro Video Club, Spin, and took like a lot of influence in them. And then like same time, like I became like slowly more interested in like more poppy stuff. Can't really think of like I don't talk my head stuff like Post Malone. Really, like I just like started listening to a lot of stuff like his songs like Circles, and it's kind of just like, okay, how do I connect the two into one? So it's kind of just like how do I connect like an indie song but make it more pop. I wanted to try more pop stuff, see what would happen. So when I first wrote the song, it was just like this really indie song. It was quite basic and just sounded like a Fistas rip-off, honestly. And then like I started like adding a few more synth parts, and like I worked with Mark Morrow, who worked with like Retro Video Club and Spin, Vistas and Indigo Velvet, and like he had like a few ideas for the song, and like he added like he had like a few synth parts and make them more what it is now. So it's just like It's just like this song, like probably spent about 5 or 6 months on it. It's been like 3 months writing it, a month recording it, and like I think a few months editing it. But it's just kind of just came out as this like this really poppy track, and I just kind of interested to see how it started off as this basic indie thing to become this pop indie whatever you call that track. But aye.
Aye. See, in terms of the music you're creating right now, have you thought about the idea of collaborating with any other artists, or do you want to keep it just you, yourself, and I right now?
It's interesting because like I had like this offer from this one guy who's American. He had like 1 million TikTok followers and like 30K Instagram followers, and like he sent me like a bunch of songs. I was like going like okay right, because like he was posting like a few demos and like short clips like what he was doing, and then like he sent me some of this stuff. But like I was listening back to it, and like to be fair, he's good at what he does. That just wasn't me. It's like very opposite of what I'm doing, and like it's kind of like for now, it's kind of like I'm wanting just to more focus on myself and like work out what I actually want to do, and like what direction I want to go in next, and then sort of collab. Because like I had a few offers and whatnot, but it's kind of like it hasn't really worked out most of the time, or just like it's just something like it wasn't like musical direction was different, and it just wouldn't work out with the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just like I've always like written solo. It's like I've never actually worked with anyone. Unless it's like a studio guy, you like add a few parts, then it's like that counts. But it's just like I've never actually collabed with anyone. Like I had a few offers, but obviously they fell through. So it's kind of like when I grow, like if I grow a wee bit more and work out what I'm doing, and then like I find someone that works, then I'd love to. Like so probably not now, but in the future when I actually can what I'm doing, like it works out, then I'd absolutely love to. Just wait and see what happens in Eldo. So.
Aye. And on that as well, see the whole idea of collaborating with other artists, and a genre yourself I'd say is quite unique in itself because it has a lot of flashbacks in my opinion to the past. Like I mentioned the last time we spoke about Dire Straits and stuff.
Yeah.
So blending the old with the new is something that's quite interesting to me, and it's interesting for me to see what you're doing with your writing and stuff. It's always been quite interesting for me to see that.
Cheers.
So the plans that you set out this year in music, how has that been going? Is there anything else you would hope to achieve that's different from maybe a few months ago?
Well, obviously, hopefully, a few more gigs, obviously, like a real life gig. So, yeah, it's been interesting because sort of like I had a plan to start the year, but like I didn't completely change what I'm doing. And like right now, like I can't keep changing what I'm thinking music wise. So it's just like okay, we'll just drop the song, see what happens. Hopefully, and just hope for the best because like I had this line about for ages. So it's like okay, we'll just drop it now. But it's quite interesting because I'm actually just like writing a lot of stuff, and like it's all different genres, it's all different. They're just trying to work out what works, what doesn't. So music wise, I'm not really sure. I'm hoping to get 1 or 2 more songs out by the end of this year, but just gotta wait and see what happens. But bar that, I'm just hoping gigs come back literally. So it's like has Sneaky Pete's postponed for 1.5 years. The headliner is like a band called Sin Tide and Edinburgh Support, and they're absolutely brilliant. Like dropped a song called Pendant, I was like actually class. So hopefully that gig goes ahead in November, and we've got Party Palace in August. So hoping just the rest of this year, just like trying and get a few more songs ready for that gig, and maybe just do like have like a sneak peek of one for Party Palace. But bar that, just writing more stuff, just gonna focus on to see what happens and hopefully just work out for the best. So.
That's brilliant, man. In terms of venues that you're wanting to play in the future, is there any in your mind that you would like to go for?
It's kind of funny because it's just like a goal of mine was in 5 years' time try and sell Sneaky Pete. So when I was like 17, I headlined this gig in Edinburgh called the Wee Red Bar. Sneaky Pete's got a capacity of 100, and Wee Red Bar's got a capacity of 200. But I debated at the time. It's actually like I wanted Sneaky Pete's, but they didn't thought I was gonna do well, and they had like no spaces there, so I just went to there, and I sold 120 tickets. So basically, if I headlined Sneaky Pete, I just sold it out. So I was just kind of like, okay, right, when COVID comes back, the first headline gig was Sneaky Pete's and try and sell that one out. So if I go for Edinburgh, for Glasgow, I would love to play King's Tuts or Broadcast. Just, I think my plan is now just focus on Sneaky Pete's, because like I'm on flying and whatnot, it's kind of like hard to promote, obviously. So it's like, my goal is probably just out Sneaky Pete's, then try hopefully next year headline Glasgow. So I'm just hoping the best really. So.
Aye, and you're doing everything right, mate, and I think a lot of people as well see that the way you're going about things is quite authentic, you know what I mean? You're truly being yourself, and sometimes it can be hard in music to try and like express the person that you are, and sometimes you get caught up with saying, oh, what should I do that's the right thing, what will make people like me more or whatever, but you just be yourself, and I really, really appreciate it about you.
Cheers.
So it's been great having you on, mate. How can we find you online?
Cool. So if you want to listen to my music, just search up Jake Roberts. You know, got it on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Twitter, even TikTok if you want. But if you want my socials, it's just Jake Roberts, but the O, not the E is an X. So it's like Jake Roberts, but the E is an X. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, just search up Jake Roberts Music. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So
don't forget, folks, go and listen to Jake's song Don't Wake Me on Friday the 4th of June.
Aye, please do. Help us out. All the money's going to this charity in Scotland, so please help out.
Right, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thank you, so.